legs like a reptile, but it walked upright.
Unless you Silurians tell us what you want, the humans will destroy you!
The species is dangerous and hostile. We should kill them all.
This is our planet.
The humans will never make peace with you.
What idiot ordered an all-out attack? You have just made them angry. Very, very angry.
We shall destroy man and reclaim the planet.
If they intend to fire those missiles, they have the means, I assure you.
The warriors have survived.
We shall be the victors in the war against mankind.
Hi everyone, TardisGuy123 here, taking a look at The Sea Devils, a third Doctor story written by Malcolm Hulke, and of course starring Jon Pertwee as the Doctor. So it's a sequel to the Silurians, and it's got a lot of the same elements of that story, but it's very different in places as well. Mainly because of the inclusion of the Master, but also because it's much more of a romp than its predecessor was. You know, it's one episode shorter, and it comes from a very different era. You know, it's both written by the same people and produced by the same people, but it's very different because, of course, season 7 kind of like was all set up by Derek Sherwin before he moved on. You know, so that left Barry Letts very much still carrying on the style of that before he was allowed to take his own direction in series 8, season 8, with kind of like those kind of stories, and then we get to season 9 here, and midway through that we have the Sea Devils, which very much feels like it's from a different era than its predecessor, but still, you know, it's very much, it's got some of the same features, but obviously the morality elements are pushed a bit more into the background because they've already been done before, and I don't think Malcolm Hulke really wanted to retread them too much here. He still wanted to keep them in this, and you could definitely tell that they're kind of like still very much there, especially in the later episodes, but they're very much more pushed towards the background, and you don't really have kind of like the conflict between the Sea Devils against each other, kind of like questioning whether they should or shouldn't and whatnot. It's very much just kind of like limited to a couple of scenes with the Doctor and the Sea Devil Chief and the Master. And, you know, that's very much the extent of it. And it's very much the Master pushing for the Sea Devils to go against the humans, and they believe him because of that. And, you know, they very much serve the role of the monsters the Sea Devils do in this story, like the Silurians did for the most part, but, you know, they were a bit more sophisticated monsters, whereas here the Sea Devils are a bit less sophisticated and are mainly just here to act as the monsters, which they do very well, and especially in the first few episodes. You know, it's written and directed very well to kind of like keep them concealed and keep them very menacing. And also, the Master in this is absolutely incredible. Roger Delgado is, of course, the definitive Master, and he is definitely my favourite. And he does such a great job acting alongside Jon Pertwee. You have those wonderful, you have that wonderful sword fight scene in episode 3, I think it is, or it might be the end. I think it's the end of episode 2 actually. But, you know, either way, he does such a good job as the Master. He truly does. And acting alongside Jon Pertwee, they're both magnificent actors, and they have a very good working relationship as the Doctor and the Master, I feel. So yeah, and then you have Jo in this story, who takes quite an active role in this story, I feel. You know, she does do a lot. She kind of like breaks the Doctor out of prison and whatnot. And she's very much written to her strengths of kind of like having all that escapology and whatnot. And that all works quite well, I think. This story is in Jo's favour. And then you have Unit being replaced by Navy, because of course this is the only third Doctor contemporary story that doesn't feature Unit. So obviously you've got to have a replacement for them in the Navy, and that's kind of like why Unit aren't in this, because the Navy is, and of course you don't really have the Army and the Navy crossing over and whatnot. You kind of like get the feeling that because of course they're using the actual Navy for this, the Royal Navy and whatnot, you don't think they'd be too happy with having the military take over and whatnot. So, well, the Army, not necessarily. I'm not sure if military is a general term for kind of like armed forces, or if it's only applies to kind of like the army. But oh well, you never know. But anyway, it's the Royal Navy very much in this, and Captain Hart is kind of like in the place of the Brigadier. He's his own character at the same time, and he is quite an enjoyable character. He has quite a good kind of like interactions with Joe and whatnot in the later half of the story. And you kind of like get this feeling that he's very much developed as a character over time, because in the first episode he's very dismissive of the Doctor and whatnot, and all thinks he's just as mad as a hatter. But then towards the end of the story, he accepts the Doctor and whatnot, and that works out quite well for him as a character. And it's nice to have those little characters who develop over time, and it's quite nice to have those elements in the story as well. So that's quite good, I think. And then I think the story itself, as I said before, it was a romp and a very action-packed one at that. And the action scenes in this, you got the Doctor fighting the Master, sword fight and whatnot. And towards the later episodes where you have the attack, you have the battle between the Sea Devils and the Navy. That's a very effective scene, I feel. And you very much get the feeling that the Royal Navy helped in this. Kind of like their inclusion very much helped to broaden out the whole story and whatnot, make it feel much more realistic, much more of a well-developed world, I guess, and whatnot. And it kind of like helped to make it more action-packed, being in the background, like the army did for the invasion. I feel it has that same kind of effect. And, here it works out very nicely. So overall, the Sea Devils is a very action-packed romp of a story. It may be a bit of a retread of the Doctor and the Silurians. It's got a lot of similar elements, I must admit, but overall it is its own story, thanks to the inclusion of the Master and a bit of a different kind of like monster in it. The Sea Devils do very much play a different role to the one that the Silurians did in Doctor and the Silurians. So overall, the Sea Devils is a great story, and one which I would definitely recommend you get, because the Beneath the Surface box set, if you haven't got it already, is a great bargain. It really is a great deal. Warriors of the Deep is on there as well as Doctor and Silurians and this. So that is, I think, 17 episodes overall. I think it's like 10 quid or something. It's very worthwhile getting it, even though Warriors of the Deep might not be a fan favourite. It's only 4 episodes out of 17, so you still got loads of other good episodes on that, and some quite interesting special features as well. So overall, definitely recommend the Beneath the Surface box set, and especially the Sea Devils. Do I prefer the Sea Devils to the Doctor and the Silurians? I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. I'd probably rate the Sea Devils an 8 out of 10. I think that's what I rated Doctor and the Silurians. They're two very different stories, but they've got a lot of the same elements. Not sure which one I prefer. But anyway, thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you all next time. Bye, everyone.